Shabbat Shalom. Put it down here. All right, this evening's Shabbat readings are the parasha is Mattot, Massei, tribes and journeys. The readings are from Numbers, chapter 30, verses 1 to 36:13. Jeremiah 1, verse 1 to chapter 2, 28. Also, Jeremiah 3, verse 4. From the Brit Hadasha, Matthew chapter 5, 33 to 37. Matthew 23, verses 1 to 25, 46. Philippians 3, 12 to 16. James chapter 4, verses 1 to 12. And we'll begin with Numbers chapter 30, verse 1 to 36, 13 after prayer. We'll start with prayer. For those of us who are finishing up our Shabbat meal, and those of us who are Shabbat meal, blessed are you, Abba Yahuwah, our God, sovereign King of the universe. You nourish the whole world in goodness with grace, kindness, and compassion to all flesh. For your mercy endures forever. We've never lacked, nor will we ever lack, for food, shelter, clothing. All for the sake of your great name. All the needs of the day, including monetary needs, are all met within you. You know what we need before we even ask. So make supplication and praise you and thank you for all the things, the unfathomable, uncountable blessings. For you alone, O God, you alone nourish and sustain all and do good to all and prepare food for all the creatures which you have created. Blessed are you, Abba Yahuwah. You nourish all and provide for all. Hashem Yeshua, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam, hamaver shoneh amar mi'apeh, lehi lason mefaniyaka Abba Yahuwah Eloheinu v'avotenu shetaglinu ha v'debekenu ha v'yel teveinu v'lo ladai avareh v'yavan v'lo ladai mesiyan v'lo ladai usayan v'yal tashlek benu yetzer hara. Amen. Blessed are you, thou, Abba Yahuwah, our God, sovereign King of the universe. You remove sleep from mine eyes and slumber from my eyelids. Abba Yahuwah, God of our fathers, to accustom me and my brothers and sisters to your Torah, to attach us to your mitzvah, not lead us into the hands of sin, pride or perversity, and not into the hands of temptation, nor into the hands of shame. Evil inclination rule over us. In the name of Mashiach Yeshua, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et dorech haYeshua b'Mashiach. Baruch hu. Amen. Blessed are you, Abba Yahuwah, our God. You gave us the way of salvation through Mashiach Yeshua. Blessed be He. Amen. Baruch Yahuwah Yahuwah. Yom Yom Ya'amor Sulanu Eno B'Shem Yeshua. Amen. You, Abba Yahuwah, who daily carry our burdens, our salvation. In the name of Yeshua we pray. Amen. Yahweh, open now our eyes that we may behold wondrous things from your law. Cleanse us of all unrighteousness with the blood of Yeshua, and fill us with your spirit, Brit Hadasha. Guide us in all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in all things of heaven and earth. Prayers and our supplications, and guide us. Raise up leadership in this nation and bring us to repentance and revival. Raise up leadership that's godly and in your name. And who to pick, who to choose, let us take a stand. Let us shine forth the full frequency of your righteousness, your light. Let us not curse the darkness, but be a light and outshine it. Cleanse us of all sins, iniquities, transgressions, and all unrighteousness. Yesterday, today, forever past, and forever. With the blood of Yeshua. Fill us with your Ruach HaKodesh, your spirit of sanctification. Make us to be perfect, even as you are perfect. We pray this in Yeshua's name. Amen. Blessed are you, Abba Yahuwah, our God, sovereign King of the universe. You sanctified us with your commandments and commanded us in the words of Torah. Please, Abba Yahuwah, our God, sweeten the words of your Torah in our mouths and in the mouths. May we and our offspring, the offspring of your people, we all together know your name and study your Torah for the sake of fulfilling your desire. Blessed are you, Abba Yahuwah. You teach Torah to your people. Sovereign King of the universe, you chose us from among all the nations and gave us your instructions, your Torah. Or giver of the Torah. Yevarecha Adonai Yahuwah, Yevarecha Adonai Yahuwah, Ana Elecha, Uchenecha Yahuwah, Ana Elecha, Uyasem Elecha, Shalom. B'Shem Yeshua, Amen. May Abba Yahuwah bless you and keep watch over you. May Abba Yahuwah make his presence to enlighten you. He be kind to you, and may Abba Yahuwah bestow upon you favor and grant you shalom, peace. Yeshua, Amen. Numbers chapter 30, verse 1 to 36:13. Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes of the people, saying, This is what Yahuwah has commanded. If a man vows a vow to Yahuwah, or swears an oath to bind himself, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. A woman vows a vow to Yahuwah and binds herself by pledge within her father's household, the house of her youth, and her father hears her vow and her pledge, by which she has bound herself, and says nothing to her, then all her vows shall stand, and every pledge by which she has bound herself shall stand. But if her father opposes her on that day, that he hears of it, no pledge by which she has bound herself shall stand. Forgive her because of her father is opposed to it. If she marries a husband while under her vows, and any thoughtless utterance of her lips by which she has bound herself, and her husband hears of it, or on that day that he hears it, then her vows will stand, and her pledges by which she has bound herself will stand. The day that her husband comes to hear it, then he makes void her vow that was on her, and the thoughtless utterance of her lips on herself, and Yahweh will forgive her. But any vow of a widow or a divorced woman, anything by which she has bound herself, shall stand against her. And if she vowed in her husband's house, or bound herself by a pledge with an oath, and heard of it, and said nothing to her, and did not oppose her, then all her vows shall stand, by which she has bound herself shall stand. But if her husband makes them null and void on the day that he hears them, proceeds out of her lips concerning her vows, or concerning pledge of herself, shall not stand. Makes them null and void, and Yahweh will forgive her. And any binding oath to afflict herself, her husband may establish, or her husband may make void to her from day to day. Then he establishes all her vows, or all her pledges that are upon her. He has established them because he said nothing to her on the day that he heard them. But if he makes them null and void after he has heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity. These are the statutes that Yahweh commanded Moses, the man, about a man and his wife, and about a father and his daughter, while she is in her youth within her father's house. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, avenge the people of Israel on the Midianites after gathered to your people, saying, arm men from among you for war, that they may go against Midian. Vengeance on Midian. You shall send 1,000 from each of the tribes of Israel to war. So there were provided out of the thousands of Israel, tribe 12,000 armed men for war. Sent them to war from each tribe, together with Phinehas the son of Elijah the priest, and the trumpets for the alarm. And they warred against Midian as Yahweh commanded Moses, and killed every male. Kings of Midian with the rest of the slain. Eve, Rekiam, Zur, Hur, the 5 kings of Midian. They also killed Balaam the son of Beor, and the people of Israel took captive the women of Midian and their little ones, and they took as plunder all their cattle, their flocks, and all their goods. Places where they lived and all their encampments they burned with fire. And they took all the spoil and the plunder, both of man and beast, and the plunder and the spoil to Moses and to the congregation of the people of Israel on the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho. Moses and Elijah the priest went to meet them outside the camp, angry with the officers of the army and commanders in thousands and the commanders of hundreds who had come from the service in the war. And Moses said to them, have you let all the women live? And Balaam's advice caused the people of Israel to act treacherously against Yahweh, the incident of Peor. And so the plague came upon the congregation of Yahweh. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known a man by lying with him. But all the young girls who have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves outside the camp 7 days. Whosoever of you has killed any person, and whosoever has touched any slain, purify yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. You shall purify every garment and every article of skin and all the works of goat's hair and every article of wood. Then Elijah the priest said to the men of the army who had gone to battle, this is the statute and the law of Yahweh, as commanded Moses, only the gold and the silver and the bronze and the iron and the tin and the lead, and everything that can stand the fire, you shall pass through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, with water for impurity. And whatever cannot stand the fire, you shall pass through the water. You must wash your clothes on the seventh day, and you shall be clean. And afterward, you may come into the camp. Take account of the plunder that was taken. You and Elijah the priest and the heads of the fathers of the houses of the congregation. And divide the plunder into two parts between the warriors who went out to battle and all the congregation. And Levi, for Yahweh, a tribute from the men of war who went out to battle. Take one out of 500, oxen and all the donkeys and all the flocks. Take it from their half and give it to Eleazar the priest as a contribution to Yahweh. Half, you shall take one drawn out of every 50 of the people of the oxen, of the donkeys, of the flocks, of all the cattle, and give them to the Levites who keep guard over the tabernacle of Yahweh. So the priest did as Yahweh commanded Moses. Now the plunder remaining of the spoil that the army had took was 5,000 sheep, 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, 32,000 persons in all, women who had not known men by lying with them. A portion of those who had gone out of the army numbered 37,500 sheep. And Yahweh's tribute of sheep was 675. The cattle were 3,600, of which Yahweh's tribute was 72. And the donkeys were 30,500, of which Yahweh's tribute was 61. Were 16,000, of which Yahweh's tribute was 32 persons. Moses gave to the contribution for Yahweh to Eleazar the priest, as Yahweh commanded Moses. Which Moses separated from that of the men who had served in the army, was 337,500 sheep, and 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 persons. From the people of Israel's half, Moses took one of every 50, both of persons and of beasts, and gave them to the Levites to the tabernacle of Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Moses. Then the officers who were over the thousands of the army and commanded thousands, and the commanders of hundreds, came near to Moses and said to Moses, your servants have counted the men of war who are under our command. There is not a man missing from us. Was offering what each man found: articles of gold, armlets, bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and beads, to make an atonement for ourselves before Yahweh. And Moses and Elijah the priest received from them the gold and all the crafted articles, and all the gold of the contribution to Yahweh from the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds was 16,750 shekels. The men of the army had each taken plunder for himself. And Moses and Elijah the priest received the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, and brought it into the tent of meeting as a memorial for the people of Israel before Yahweh. Now the people of Reuben and the people of Gad livestock, and they saw the land of Jazer. Behold, there was a place for livestock. So the people of Gad and the people of Reuben came and said to Moses and to all the chiefs of the congregation, at Torah, Tiban, Jezar, Nimrah, and beyond. And that Yahweh has struck down before the congregation of Israel is a land for livestock, and your servants have livestock. And they said, if we have found favor in your sight, servants, for a possession, do not take us across the Jordan. But Moses said to the people of Gad and the people of Reuben, shall your brothers go to war while you sit here? The people of Israel from going over the land that Yahweh has given them. Your fathers did this from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up into the valley of Eshcol and they saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the people of Israel from going into the land that Yahweh had given them. And Yahweh's anger was kindled on that day, and he swore, saying, surely none of the men who came out of Egypt and upward shall see the land that I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me, except Caleb, the son of Yephuneh, the Kenizzite, and Yeshua, the son of Nun. They followed Yahweh, and Yahweh's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generation that had done the evil in the sight of Yahweh was gone. Risen in your father's place, a brood of sinful men, to increase still more fierce anger of Yahweh against Israel. Turn away from following him, he will again abandon them in the wilderness, and you will destroy all this people. They answered him and said, we will build the sheepfolds here for our livestock, and cities for our little ones, but we will take up arms, ready to go before the people of Israel, until we have brought them into their place. In the fortified cities because of the inhabitants of the land, and return to our homes until each of the people of Israel has gained his inheritance. For we will not inherit with them on the other side of the Jordan and beyond. On this side of the Jordan and east. So Moshe said to them, if you will do this, if you will take up arms and go before Yahweh for the war, armed man of you will pass over the Jordan until he has driven out all of his enemies from before him, and the land is subdued before Yahweh. Then after that you shall return to be free of obligation to Yahweh and to Israel, and this land shall be for a possession for your possession before Yahweh. But if you will not do so, behold, and be sure your sin will find you out. Build cities for your little ones and folds for your sheep, and do what you have promised. The people of Reuben said to Moses, your servants will do as my Lord commands. Our little ones and our wives and livestock and all our cattle will remain here. But your servants will pass over, every man who is armed for war, before Yahweh and Lord orders. And concerning them to Elijah the priest and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the houses of the tribes of the people of Israel. And Moses said to them, if the people of Gad and the people of Reuben, every man who is armed before Yahweh will pass, the land shall be subdued before you. Then you shall give them the land of Gilead for a possession. However, if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have possessions among you in the land of Canaan. And the people of Gad and the people of Reuben answered, what Yahweh has said, servants we will do. We will pass over armed before Yahweh in the land of Canaan, and the possessions of our inheritance shall remain with us. Then Moses gave to them and to the people of Gad and the people of Reuben, Massei, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and the land and its cities with its territories and the cities of the land throughout the country. And the people of Gad built Divan, Sophin, Jazar, Jogbehel, Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, fortified cities and folds for sheep. And the people of Reuben built Heshbon, Elach, Nebo, Baal Meon. Their names were changed, and Sibmah. And they gave other names to the cities that they built. And the sons of Mechar, Massei, went to Gilead and captured it, and dispossessed the Amorites who were in it. And Moses gave Gilead and Mechar, the son of Manasseh, and he settled in it. And Jair, the son of Manasseh, went up and captured their villages and called them Jair. And Nabal went and captured Kenath and its villages and called it Nabal after his own name. And these are the stages of the people of Israel when they went out in the land from the land of Egypt by their companies under the leadership of Moshe and Aaron. Starting places, stage by stage, by the command of Yahweh. And these are their stages according to their starting places. They set out from Ramesses on the first month, after the Passover. The people of Israel went out triumphantly in the sight of all the Egyptians, while the Egyptians were burying their firstborns. Struck down among them. So Yahweh executed judgment. So the people of Israel set out from Ramesses and camped at Sukkot, which is at the edge of the wilderness. And they set out from Etham and turned back to Pi Haroth, east of Baal Zephon, and they camped before Migdal, and they set forth before Harath and passed through the midst of the wilderness, and they went through a 3 days journey into the wilderness of Etham and camped at Marah. And they set out from Marah and camped at Elam. And at Elam there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, and they camped there. They set out from Elam and camped at by the Red Sea. And then they set out from the Red Sea and camped in the wilderness of Sin. And they set out from the wilderness of Sin and camped at Dophkah. And they set out from Dophkah and camped at Alush. And then they set out from Alush and camped at Rephidim. No water for the people to drink. And they set out from Rephidim and camped at Sinai in the wilderness. And then they set out from the wilderness of Sinai and camped at Kibroth Hattaavah, and camped at Hazeroth, and camped at Rithmah. Then they set out from Rithmah and camped at Ramon Perez, and camped at Libnah. Then they set out from Libnah and camped at Rasha. And they set out from Rasha and camped at. Then they set out from Kithiliotha and camped at Mount Sephar. Then they set out from Mount Sephar and camped at Haradah. And camped at. Then they set out from Ahiloth and camped at Tahath. They camped at Terah. And they set out from Terah and camped at Mithkah. And camped at Hashmorah, and camped at. And they set out from Moseroth and camped at Bnei Jakan. And they set out from Bnei Jakan and camped at Hor Haggidgad. And they set out from Hor Haggidgad and camped at Jat. Then they set out from Jatbata and camped at Arborna. And camped at Zion Gibor. And camped in the wilderness of Zin, that is Kadesh. From Kadesh, and camped at Mount Hor at the edge of the land of Edom. The priest went up Mount Hor and died there. The people of Israel had come out of the land of Egypt. The 5th month, Aaron was 123 years old when he died at Mount Hor. And the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in Negev, in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the people of Israel, and they set out from Mount Hor and camped at Zalmunna. From Zalmunna and camped at Punon. Then they set out from Punon and camped at Abot. Then they set out from Mattot and camped at Ayer Abarim, prairie of Moab. And they set out from Mayam and camped at Dibon Gad. Then they set out from Dibon Gad and camped at Alam Diblathim. Then they set out from Almon Diblathim and camped in the mountains of Abarim before Nebo. Then they set out from the mountains of Abarim and camped in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho. Then they camped by the Jordan from Beth Jesramoth as far as Abel Shittim. And Yahweh spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab at the Jordan at the Jericho, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when you pass over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you and destroy all their metal images and demolish all their high places. And you shall take possession of the land and settle in it, for I have given the land to you to possess it. And you shall inherit the land by lot according to your clans. Shall you give a large inheritance? 5 shall you give a small inheritance. Wherever the lot falls for anyone, that shall be his, according to the tribes of your fathers, you shall inherit. But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, them shall be as barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they shall trouble you in the land where you dwell, and I will do to you as I thought to do to them." Spoke to Moses, saying, "Command the people to say to them, when you enter into the land of Canaan, and this is the land that shall fall to you for an inheritance, the land of alongside Edom, defined by its borders. Your south side shall be from the wilderness of Zin along the side of Edom, and your southern border shall run from the end of the Salt Sea on the east, and your border shall turn south and of the ascent of Akrabim across them, south of Kadesh Barnea. Then it shall go Adar, passing along to the Esmon. And the border shall turn from Asman to the brook of Egypt. It shall be at the sea. Border you shall have the great sea and its coast, and this shall be your western border. Your northern border, from the great sea you shall draw a line to Mount Hor. You shall draw a line to Lebo Hamath, shall be at the Zedad. Then the border shall extend to Zephron, and its limit shall be Hazar Enan, northern border. And you shall draw a line for your eastern border from Hazar Enan to Sephon. The border shall go down from Sephon to Riblah, on the east side of Ain, to reach the shoulder of the sea of Shinneroth on the east. And the border shall go down to the Jordan, and its limit shall be at the Salt Sea. This shall be your land as defined by its borders all around. Moses commanded the people of Israel, saying, This is the land that you shall inherit by lot. Commanded to give you to the 9 tribes and the half-tribe. For the tribe of the people of Reuben by their fathers' houses, and the tribe of the people of Gad by their fathers' houses, have received their inheritance, and also the half-tribe of Manasseh. And the half-tribe received their inheritance beyond Jordan, east of Jericho, toward the sunrise. Spoke to Moses, saying, These are the names of the men who shall divide the land: Elijah the priest, and Joshua son of Nun. Shall take one of the chiefs of every tribe to divide the land for inheritance. And these are the names of the men of the tribe of Judah: Caleb son of Jephunneh, Simeon, Shemiel the son of Ammihud, and of the tribe of Benjamin, Elidad the son of Shishlan. Of the tribe of the people of Dan, a chief, Buki the son of Jogli. People of Yosef, the tribe of the people of Manasseh, a chief, Hananiel the son of Ipad. Of the tribe of the people of Ephraim, Kemuel the son of Shiptan, Hulan, Elizaphan the son of Parnak. Of the tribe of the people of Issachar, the son of Azan. Of the tribe of the people of Asher, a chief, Ahihud, son of Solomoni. The tribe of the people of Naphtali, a chief, Pedahel, son of. And these are the men whom Yahweh commanded to divide the inheritance for the people of Israel in the land of Canaan. Yahweh spoke to Moses in the plain of Moab, at Jericho, saying, Command the people of Israel to give to the Levites some of the inheritance of their possession as cities for them to dwell in. And you shall give to the Levites pasture land around the cities, and the cities shall be theirs to dwell in. And their pasture land shall be for their cattle and for their livestock and for all their beasts. The pasture land of the cities which you shall give them to the Levites shall reach from the wall of the city outward to 1,000 cubits all around. And you shall measure outside the city on the east side 2,000 cubits, on the south side 2,000 cubits, on the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits. And on the north side 2,000 cubits, and the city being in the middle. And this shall belong to them as pasture land for their cities. The Levites shall be 6 cities of refuge, where you shall permit the manslayer to go free. In addition to them, you shall give 42 cities. All the cities that you give to the Levites shall be 40 and 8, with their pasture lands. As for the cities that you shall give for possession from the larger tribes, you shall take many, which you shall take for you. Each in proportion to the inheritance that it inherits shall you give these cities to the Levites. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when you cross the Jordan in the land of Canaan, then you shall select cities of refuge for you, that the manslayer who kills a person without intent may flee there. The city shall be for a refuge for the avenger, that the manslayer shall not die before the congregation for judgment. And the cities that you shall give them shall be 6 cities of refuge. And you shall give these 3 cities beyond the Jordan, the 3 cities in the land to be cities of refuge. And these 6 cities shall be for refuge. death and he died, he is a murderer, and the murderer shall be put to death. Or if he struck him down with a wooden tool that could cause death, the murderer shall be put to death. The avenger of the blood shall himself put the murderer to death. When he meets him, he shall put him to death. And if he pushed him out of hatred, or hurled something at him, lying in wait so that he died, or an enemy struck him down with his hand so that he died, then he who struck the blow shall be put to death. He is a murderer. The avenger of blood shall be put to death when he meets him. But if he pushed him suddenly without enmity, or hurled anything at him without lying in wait, or used a stone that could cause death without seeking him, dropped it on him, so that he died, although he was not his enemy and he did not seek harm to him, then the congregation shall judge between the manslayer and the avenger of blood in accordance with these rules. And all the congregation shall restore him to his city of refuge, for he had where he had fled, to which he fled. And the avenger of blood finds him outside the boundaries of the city of refuge, then the avenger of blood kills the manslayer. He shall not be guilty for the blood, for he must remain in the city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the manslayer may return to the land of his possession. And these things shall be for a statute and a rule for you throughout your generations in all your dwelling places. If anyone kills a person, the murderer shall be put to death on the evidence of witnesses. But no person shall be put to death on the testimony of one witness. Moreover, you shall accept no ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death, but he shall be put to death. You shall accept no ransom for him who has fled to the city of refuge, that he may return to dwell in the land before the death of the high priest. You shall not pollute the land in which you live, for blood pollutes the land, and no atonement can be made for the land or for the blood that is shed in it, except by the blood of the one who shed it. And you shall not defile the land in which you live, in the midst of which I dwell, for I, Yahweh, dwell in the midst of the people of Israel. Then the heads of the fathers of the houses of the clans of the people of Gilead, the son of Machar, the son of Manasseh, and the clans of the people of Joseph came here and spoke before Moses and before the chief, the heads of the fathers and the houses of the people of Israel. And they said, Yahweh commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the people of Israel. And my Lord was commanded by Yahweh to give inheritance to Zelophehad, our brother, to his daughters. But if they are married to any of the sons of other tribes, then the people of Israel, then will their inheritance be taken from them, the inheritance of our fathers added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry. So it will be taken away from the lot of our inheritance. And when the Jubilee of the people of Israel comes, then the inheritance will be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry. And their inheritance will be taken from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the people of Israel according to the word of Yahweh, saying, the tribe of the people of Joseph is right. And this is what Yahweh commands concerning the daughters of Zelophehad. Let them marry whom they think best, only they shall marry within the clan of the tribe of their father. The inheritance of the people of Israel shall not be transferred from one tribe to another. For every one of the people of Israel shall hold on to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter who possesses an inheritance in the tribe of the people of Israel shall be wife to one of the clan of the tribe of her father, so that every one of the people of Israel may possess the inheritance of his fathers. So no inheritance shall be transferred from one tribe to another. For each of the tribes of the people of Israel shall hold on to his own inheritance. And the daughters of Zelophehad did as Yahweh commanded. From Mahala, Tirzah, Hagla, Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married to the sons of their father's brothers. And they were married into the clans of the people of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's clan. And these are the commandments and the rules that Yahweh commanded through Moses to the people of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 1 to 2:28. In the words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, one of the priests, the words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, one of the priests who were in Anathoth, in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahweh came in the days of Josiah, the king of Ammon, the king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. It came also in the days of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, until the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, until the captivity of Jerusalem in the 5th month. Now the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Then I said, Lord Elohim, behold, I do not know how to speak, for I am only a youth. But Yahweh said to me, Do not say, Am I only a youth? For to all whom I send you, you shall go, and whatsoever I command you, you shall speak. And do not be afraid for them, for I am with you to deliver you, declares Yahweh. Then Yahweh put his hand out and touched my mouth. And Yahweh said to me, Behold, I have put my words in your mouth. See, I have set you this day over nations and over kingdoms, to pluck up and to break down, to destroy and to overthrow, to build and plant. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Jeremiah, what do you see? And I said, I see an almond branch. Then Yahweh said to me, You have seen well, for I am watching over my word to perform it. And the word of Yahweh came to me a second time, saying, What do you see? And I said, I see a boiling pot, facing away from the north. And Yahweh said to me, Out of the north disaster shall be let loose upon the inhabitants of the land. For behold, I am calling all the tribes and all the kingdoms of the north, declares Yahweh. And they shall come every one, and shall set his throne at the entrance of the gates of Jerusalem, against all of its walls, and all around against the cities of Judah. And I will declare my judgments against them, for their evil in forsaking me. They have made offerings to other gods and worshipped the works of their own hands. But you, dress yourself for work, arise and say to them, everything that I command you. And do not be dismayed by them, lest I dismay you before them. And behold, I will make you this day a fortified city, an iron pillar, against the whole land, against the kings of Judah and its officials and priests, against the people of the land. And they will fight against you, but they shall not prevail against you, for I am with you, declares Yahweh, to deliver you. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Go and proclaim in the hearing of Jerusalem, and say, Thus says Yahweh, I remember the devotion from your youth, your love as a bride, how you followed me in the wilderness, in the land that was not sown. Israel was holy to Yahweh, the first fruits of his harvest. All who ate up of it incurred guilt. Disaster came upon them, declares Yahweh. Hear the word of Yahweh, O house of Jacob, and all the clans of Israel. Thus says Yahweh, What wrong did your fathers find in me, that they went far from me, and went after worthlessness and became worthless? They did not say, Where is Yahweh, who brought us up from the land of Egypt, who led us in this wilderness, in the land of deserts and pits, in the land of drought and deep darkness, in the land that none passes through, where no man dwells. And I brought you into the plentiful land to enjoy its fruits and good things. But when you came in, you defiled my land, and made my heritage an abomination. The priests did not say, Where is Yahweh? Those who handle the law did not know me. The shepherds transgressed against me. The prophets prophesied by Baal, and went after things that do not profit. Therefore, I still contend with you, declares Yahweh. And with your children's children I will contend. For cross to the coast of Cyprus and sea, or send to Kedar and examine with care. See if there has been any such thing. Has a nation changed its gods, or even though they are no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit. Be appalled, O heavens, at this. Be shocked and utterly desolate, declares Yahweh. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed out cisterns for themselves, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Is Israel a slave? Is he a homeborn servant? Why then has he become a prey? The lions have roared against him, and they have roared loudly. They have made his land a waste, his cities ruins, without inhabitant. Moreover, the men of Memphis and Taphanes have shaved the crown of your head, and have brought this upon you. Have brought this upon yourself. Have you not brought this upon yourself by forsaking Yahweh your Elohim, when he led you in the way? And now, what do you gain by going to Egypt to drink the waters of the Nile? Or what do you gain by going to Assyria to drink the waters of the Euphrates? Your evil will chastise you, and your apostasy will reprove you. Know and see that it is evil and bitter. for you to forsake Yahweh your Elohim. The fear of me is not in you, declares Yahweh Elohim of hosts. For long ago I broke your yoke and burst your bonds, but you said, I will not serve. Yes, on every high hill, under every green tree, you bowed down like a whore. Yet I planted you as a choice vine, wholly of pure seed. How then have you turned to degenerate and become a wild vine? Though you wash yourself with lye and use much soap, the stain of your guilt is still before me, declares Elohim Yahweh. How can you say I am not unclean? I have not gone after the Baals. Look at the way in your way in the valley. Know what you have done. Running here and there, a wild donkey, used to the wilderness. In her heat, sniffing the wind. Who can restrain her lusts? None who seek her need weary themselves. In her month they will find her. Keep your feet from going unshod, and your throat from thirst. But you said it is hopeless, for I have loved foreigners, and after them will I go. As a thief is shamed when he is caught, so the house of Israel shall be shamed. They, their kings and their officials, their priests and their prophets, who say to a tree, you are my father, and to a stone, you gave me birth. For they have turned their back to me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they say, arise and save us. But where are your gods that you made for yourself? Let them arise if they can save you. In your time of trouble, for as many as your cities are your gods, O Judah. Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 to 37. And again you have heard that it was said of those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to Yahweh what you have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of Elohim, nor by earth, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let what you say simply be yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil, or the evil one. Jeremiah 3:4. Have you not just now called to me, my father? You are the friend of my youth. Matthew chapter 23, verse 1 to 25, 46. Then Yeshua said to the crowds and to his disciples, the scribes and Pharisees sit on Moses' seat. So do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works that they do. For they preach, but they do not practice. And they tie up heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to move them with their finger. And they do all their deeds to be seen by others. For they make their phylacteries broad, and their fringes long, the recitzi. And they love the place of honor at feasts, and the best seats in the synagogue, and the greetings in the marketplaces, and being called rabbi by others. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. Call no man your father on earth, for you have one Father who is in heaven. Neither be called instructors, for you have one instructor, HaMashiach. The greatest among you shall be your servant. Whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles himself shall be exalted. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you shut the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. For you neither enter yourselves nor allow those who would enter to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you travel across the sea and land to make a single proselyte. And when he becomes a proselyte, you make him twice as much the child of hell as you yourselves. Woe unto you, blind guides, who say, if anyone swears by the temple, it is nothing. But if anybody swears by the gold in the temple, he is bound to his oath. You blind fools, For which is greater, the gold or the temple that has made the gold sacred? And you say, if anyone swears by the altar, it is nothing. But if anybody swears by the gift on the altar, he is bound by his oath. You blind men, for which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? So whoever swears by the altar swears by it, and by everything on it. And whoever swears by the temple swears by it, and by him who dwells in it. And whoever swears by heaven swears by the throne of Elohim, and by him who sits upon it. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you tithe mint and dill and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy and faithfulness. These you ought to have done without neglecting the others. You blind guides, straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you clean the outside of a cup and plate, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and the plate, that the outside also may be clean. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead men's bones, and all uncleanliness. So you also outwardly appear righteous to others, but within are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you build the tombs of the prophets and then decorate the monuments of the righteous, saying, if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in shedding the blood of the prophets. Thus you witness against yourselves that you are the sons of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up then the measure of your fathers, you serpents, you brood of vipers. How are you to escape being sentenced to hell? Therefore I send you prophets and wise men and scribes, some of whom you will kill and crucify, and some you will flog in your synagogues and persecute them from town to town, so upon you may come all of the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the sanctuary and the altar. Truly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often I would have gathered your children together, as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. See, your house is left to you desolate. For I tell you, you will not see me again, until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh. Yeshua left the temple and was going away when his disciples came to point out to him all the buildings of the temple, but he answered them, you see all of these, do you not? Truly I say to you, there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down. And as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us when these things will be, and what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age. And Yeshua answered them, see that no man leads you astray, for many will come in my name, saying, I am HaMashiach, and they will lead many astray. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For a nation will rise against nation, and a kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All of these are but the beginning of the birth pains. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another. Many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because of the lawlessness that will be increased, the love of many will wax cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations. Then the end will come. So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel, standing in the holy place, let the reader understand. Then let those who are left in Judea flee to the mountains. Let the one who is on the housetop not go down to take what is in his house. And let the one who is in the field not turn back to get his cloak. For alas, for the women who are pregnant and for those who are nursing infants in those days, pray that your flight may not be in the winter or on a Sabbath. For then there will be great tribulation, such as had not been from the beginning of the world until now, no, and never will be. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. And then if anyone says to you, look, here is HaMashiach, or there he is, do not believe it. For false HaMashiachs and false prophets will arise, and perform many great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you beforehand. So if they say to you, look, he is in the wilderness, do not go out. And if they say, look, he is in the inner room, do not believe it. For as the lightning comes from the east and shines as far as in the west, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever the corpse is, there the vultures will gather. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, and he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. From the fig tree learn its lesson. As you see its branch becomes tender and puts out leaves, you know that summer is near. So also when you see all these things, you will know that he is near and at the very gates. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. For as it were in the days of Noah, so will it be at the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day when Noah entered the ark. And they were unaware until the flood came and swept them all away. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. Then 2 men will be in the field, and one will be taken and one left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, and one will be taken and one left. Therefore stay awake, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known what part of the night the thief was coming in, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. Who then is the faithful and wise servant to whom his master has set over his household to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find doing so when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set him over all of his possessions. But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master delays and tarries, and begins to beat his fellow servants, and eats and drinks with the drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and an hour he does not know. And he will cut him into pieces and put him with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. And as the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was the cry, here is the bridegroom, come out and meet him. And all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish ones said to the wise, give us some of your oil, for our lamps have gone out. But the wise answered, saying, since there will not be enough for us and for you, go rather to the dealers and buy for yourselves. And while they were going to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. And afterward the other virgins came also, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered, truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. For it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. And he gave one 5 talents, and to another he gave 1, and to each according to his ability. And he went away. And the one who had received 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also the one who had 2 talents made 2 more. But the one who had received 1 talent went and dug in the earth and hid his master's money. Now after a long time the master of those servants came and settled an account with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing the 5 talents more, saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more. And his master said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also who had the 2 talents came forward, saying, Master, you delivered unto me 2 talents, and I have made 2 talents more. And his master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little, so I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. Then he also who had received 1 talent came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you have not scattered any seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But the master answered him, You wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I do not sow, and gather where I have scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested the money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was mine with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has will be given more, and to everyone who has abundance will have great abundance. And from the one who has not, even that which he has will be taken away, and cast as worthless. And cast that worthless servant into the outer darkness, into that place. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne, and before him will be gathered all the nations. And he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will place the sheep on his right, but the goats on his left. And then that king will say to those on his right, Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. And I was thirsty, and you gave me to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you to drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will answer them, Truly I say unto you, as you did this to the least of my brother, you did it to me. And then he will say to those on his left, Depart from me, you cursed, into eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me, naked, and you did not clothe me, sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they also will answer, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison, and did not minister to you? And he will answer to them, Truly I say to you, as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. Philippians chapter 3, verses 12 to 16. Not that I have already obtained this or am already perfect, but I press on to make it my own, because Yeshua HaMashiach has made me his own. Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own. But one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of Elohim in Yeshua HaMashiach. Let those of us who are mature think this way. And if in anything you think otherwise, Elohim will reveal that also to you. Only let us hold true to what we have attained. James chapter 4, verses 1 to 12. What causes quarrels? What causes fights among you? Is it not this, that your passions are at war within you? You desire and do not have, so you murder. You covet and cannot obtain, so you fight and quarrel. You do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly, to spend it on your passions and lust. You adulterous people, do you not know that friendship with the world is an enmity with Elohim? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend with the world makes himself the enemy of Elohim. Or do you not suppose it is to no purpose, or do you suppose that it is to no purpose that the scripture says he yearns jealously over the Spirit that he has made to dwell in us? But he gives more grace, therefore. It says, Elohim opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Submit yourselves, therefore, to Elohim. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to Elohim, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be wretched and mourn and weep, and let your laughter be turned into mourning, and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before Yahuwah, and he will exalt you. Do not speak evil against one another, brothers. The one who speaks evil against a brother or judges his brother speaks evil against the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is only one lawgiver and judge, he who is able to save and destroy. But who are you to judge your neighbor? This concludes the readings for this evening. We'll conclude with prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Yahuwah Eloheinu, Melik ha'olam ha, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'shayeh halom natah b'keinu. Baruch atah Adonai Yahuwah, Naton HaTorah b'shem Yeshua. Amen and amen. Blessed art thou, Abba Yahuwah, our God, sovereign King of the universe. You gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed are you, Abba Yahuwah, giver of the Torah. In the name of Yeshua, amen and amen. Shalom.